it does not trickle as it's supposed to. When the wages are that miserable, it is hard to trickle anywhere. So Haiti's past experience with the model demonstrates that although it generated jobs, and it did do that, the wages were just too low to have that kind of multiplier effect. And the strong urban bias, in other words, that all the jobs were around Port-au-Prince in that time, 70% of the electricity that was generated in the country was in that part of the country, around the capital. So it also ended up creating a larger or broader gap between the rural and the urban world, which is a historical gap in Haiti. Okay? So it had that negative effect as well. So even though we know that this strategy has failed in the past, it is still being pushed, as we know, by very important voices and very important forces. And interestingly enough, I was giving a talk to government officials in Canada about this. Manufacturing, you had radical land reform. So you had a redistribution, and some of you may already know this from your studies, a redistribution of rural area, in the rural areas of land. In the case of South Korea, what this did was it raised the opportunity costs of peasant labor. It meant that peasant labor, because of the redistribution of land, was much higher, worth much more, which actually then forced the price of urban labor in manufacturing to go up. So if you look at the statistics on South Korea, you will see that it was not super low wages. It was not wages of misery that, that workers received in that particular. It wasn't the cheap labor. It wasn't, well, it was cheap labor. I would say it was not sweatshop labor, and that there is a difference. Okay, it was not extremely low wages. Research has also shown that in the cases of the NICs, that they applied the export processing zone strategy in conjunction with three key things or policies. One of them, of course, is the redistribution of assets or land, which I already mentioned. The second is a strong emphasis on human capital, which means, of course, mass primary education, investment in mass primary education, investment in health as well. And three, a strong interventionist state, coupled with a supportive social structure. Isabelle just talked about the Haitian state. It cannot be characterized as a strong interventionist state. Okay? So the point is that export processing zones on their own are not a strategy, Mr. Collier. They are not responsible alone for the levels of poverty-reducing growth. Rather, export manufacturing was one aspect that these countries use as part of a broader development approach. Okay, so that's my message. Should I cut off now? Okay. Okay, so I'll just... Sorry. That's no problem. I'll say one more point. Should I say one more point? Okay, no, I'll end there. I've made my points on Collier, or three of them.